Hi guys, I'm back again with some more stories for you today. Let's go to the first one, about OP's stepmother, who convinced OP's father to leave half of his inheritance to her and her kids. But the will suddenly disappears, and OP's uncle finds OP's dad's previous will, where he left everything to OP. Well, guess if OP's stepmother isn't furious. Listen to the story to find out all the details, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My mom died when I was 11. A drunk driver hit her on her way home from work. It hit me like a ton of bricks, and after intense therapy, life seemed okay. Well, that was until Lorraine. Lorraine was a pain in my butt. She had no money, no empathy, but much disdain for me. She also had 2 daughters, Mallory, 10, and Rebecca, 13. They were spawns of Satan. They would destroy my things when I wasn't home, and when I'd complain to my dad, Lorraine was always there to defend them. My dad never really took my side in these arguments, and for years, I chalked it up to him not being in the right state of mind after my mom died. But sooner or later, I moved on, and my dad never did. Thus began a cycle of Mallory and Rebecca's constant aggression, Lorraine's lies, and my dad's obliviousness. I was 15 when they got married, and when Mallory and Rebecca transferred to my school. They made it their mission to humiliate me. One evening, while I was out with friends, they logged into my computer and found private images I had sent to my boyfriend. The next day, there was a review posted to my school's page with 1 star, and the image reading would bump up the rating if this W got expelled. The photo was live for 3 hours, enough time for kids to save and share it, leading the school to consider expulsion. In an unusual move, my dad defended me for the first time. I got a week's suspension, while Mallory and Rebecca got off scot-free. I ended up dropping out and was homeschooled by a tutor my dad paid generously for. Lorraine hated that my dad spent money on me, so she convinced him to write up a new will. He left half of his assets and estate to me, and the other half to her and her kids to share. Although she tried arguing for it all, my dad wouldn't budge. I'm now 18, and a few weeks ago, my dad passed away due to virus. When my dad's safe was opened, the will was nowhere in sight. Lorraine had been accusing me, but cannot provide proof. This is because I do not have it, and do not know what happened to it. My uncle came forward with my dad's previous will, where he left me everything. Without proof of the new will, Lorraine cannot legally inherit anything. Notably, Lorraine's severe shopping addiction left her penniless. Her family was almost homeless before my dad, and without inheritance, they could end up on the streets. As much as I hate them, I feel as if I cannot leave them to most likely die hungry and poor. Lorraine's family has reached out saying that I'm going to leave them homeless, all because of my greed, and that I am a complete a-hole. I'm not sure if my revenge plan is justified, so help me, please. Would I be the a-hole if I kept it all for myself and possibly left them homeless? I think OP's dad may have reconsidered and destroyed the new will intentionally. They were never nice people. Now they want to guilt OP into sharing the money with them all. It is not OP's responsibility to keep paying for them. OP's stepmother is an adult. Moreover, OP is young and needs the money for her own expenses and education. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. Zombie Cartographer 00 says, "Not the a-hole. Sucks to suck for Lorraine. She'll have to find a new man for herself and her nasty children to leech off of. It's possible that your dad destroyed the will that left Lorraine anything because he had a change of heart. It's also possible that the will leaving her anything was a red herring, and the actual will was in your uncle's hands the entire time." Outside Ice 5665 says, "Not the a-hole. Sounds like your uncle is looking out for you." Comfortable C says, "Not the a-hole. Karma is visiting Lorraine and her daughters with a vengeance. You owe them nothing. Take your inheritance and run with it. The missing will was probably destroyed by your dad, knowing his original will would stand in its place." My dad passed away a couple months ago, and we're sorting his estate out. I'm his only surviving child and was the sole inheritor. He was married to my mom a while ago, but got divorced 20 years ago and had been with his new partner over 10 years. He never got remarried due to how bad he got screwed over in the divorce. That being said, he seemed to love her. His house is fully paid off and in a great area. He completed a bunch of renovations in the last year, so I really lucked out with a totally modern, very nice paid-off place that needs no work. My wife doesn't want to move into the new place because she doesn't want to change our kids' school. So we decided we'd rent the place out for passive income or security. We assumed his partner would want to move out, But the issue is that his partner was not in the will, so she didn't get anything, since they're not married. She is retired living on a small fixed income, which was fine while she was living with my dad, and he paid for everything. She doesn't feel ready to leave the place, so we said if she wants to stay, she can rent from us. We offered her the market rate for rent, maybe a little less, and she freaked out. Said charging her at all, but especially the market rate, was cruel after the work she put into the house. I guess she planned the renovations. Dad paid. My wife says by not doing whatever to maximize our income and put ourselves in the best position, we'd be doing a disservice to our kids. I'm split morally, but going with my wife for our marriage's sake. Does this make me the a-hole to charge her full market rent? Edit. My wife's offer is to let her stay through December, 3 months free, and then wants her out or paying rent. Not a year or reduced rent, because her son has offered to take her in. Wife wants to reserve rental profits to the kids' college fund, something we've struggled to build thus far. Dad's partner has an adult son and living brother. Son has offered to take her in. Final edit. No common law or squatters' rights here. They didn't live there all 10 years, just the last 3, and she would not be homeless. She has an adult son she could live with. I think OP's dad is largely the one at fault here. It was irresponsible of him to neither marry for the legal protections, nor go out of his way to arrange a legal will prior to his death. Now there is a retired lady whose husband of a decade has died, and she's being kicked out of a house she put time, effort, and probably money into. I don't blame OP for not wanting to just give her the house, nor let her live there entirely for free. But honestly, OP sounds very callous. And now let's hear the community's opinion. There Goes My Mouth says, "You're the a-hole. I get it. This is an exciting opportunity, and you're within your legal rights. But this older woman had just lost her partner of 10 years and is facing a super uncertain future. And you want to make her homeless while she's still grieving, and at Christmas no less. The lack of empathy is pretty astonishing. You said the house was paid off, so you don't need the income. Figure out a compromise, or at least for 6 months or so." Moomin Bubbles says, "I don't care what is legal. You're the a-hole, and don't use your kids as an excuse. You're kicking your retired and recently widowed stepmom out of her home in the middle of a virus. Because money. Shame on you and your wife." The Real Kim Shady says, "Not the a-hole. Your dad could have put her in the will. He didn't. Now it's your place and you get to do what you want. Kinda sucks she was expecting to just live in your house while you pay property taxes or pay for any upkeep that needs doing. However, your dad loved her. Maybe don't just toss her out because she can't afford the place. Maybe sign a lease for a year of reduced rent, and then you will charge her market price." Update. She is in her 60s and seemingly healthy. We don't have a relationship. Her behavior was always somewhere between shy and antisocial. No way she would live with random roommates. My wife always thought she was rude because of this, and never really embraced our kids like her grandkids. Part of why she doesn't feel the need to treat her like family when she has her own, son and brother. For everyone acting like we're rich. I don't know where in the post you got that. Our combined income is about $80K for a family of 4. Considered lower end of middle class in our city. Market rent, according to my friend who is a leading agent, would be anywhere from $2.5K to $3K a month. We offered her $2,400 to be nice. This timeline works out that if we start collecting rent by this March, we'd have enough for each kid to go to college by the time they graduate high school. Then we could either keep it as a rental or sell it for our retirement. It would be life-changing. The will was updated a total of 4 times by a very esteemed lawyer, most recently after the birth of my last son. It explicitly states that all of his possessions be left to me to provide for his grandkids. Every lawyer who has looked at it has said it is ironclad. There is no common law claim to be had. Knowing my dad, I think this was intentional to not amend the will to add her. He had expressed interest in helping pay for my kids' college, and he'd make dark jokes in the past about how if he's learned anything, it's spoil your kids, not your woman. And this is an update to a story about OP, who left his ex-wife because she forgot about OP after they had children. But now when OP has a girlfriend and is really happy, X decides to get OP back. See the link in the description box below for part 1 of the story. I've talked to my mother about what she did. She was very remorseful. Apparently, Dad has had a talk with her about this too. He was shocked at what she's done, and she seems to have realized the seriousness of what she's done. I took her apology, but I was firm on my boundaries and that I didn't want her to be in my children's life for a while, until I have sorted out their feelings and talked to them. She was reluctant to acknowledge my girlfriend, however, and I made it clear that after the children, she is my priority before myself, and definitely before her, Mom. So, how much she wants to be in my life depends on how much she respects my life and the people I love. I've talked to my ex-wife, too. I made it clear that under no circumstances is she ever to contact my girlfriend again. I told her that this was still a new relationship, and any contact is going to be with me. I told her that my girlfriend has nothing to do with my decision of divorce. I have no romantic feelings for her, and that I know she doesn't have any feelings for me either. She wants me out of convenience. I don't. She started crying and telling me that I didn't get to tell her what she's feeling. I agreed and apologized. I told her then I will only speak on my behalf. I want us to be friends and to raise our children to be the great people they're on the path to becoming. I don't want them to be used as pawns in this sick game she and the mothers are playing. I will not allow it and will do whatever it takes to protect them. I suggested that we can start family therapy because I needed her to understand the turmoil her and my mother put our children through. I never want that to happen again. She told me that she didn't want my girlfriend to be in their lives yet because she didn't know her. Fair enough, but I reminded her that our agreement is that when a relationship is serious, that's when we introduce our new partners to our children. And this is going to happen eventually, so she better get used to it. I also talked to her about me not going to take her workload on her weeks, meaning that I won't be dropping by every morning to wake up the children and take them to school. She will have to start waking up in the morning like any other parent out there. About the food, I will still send home cooked food with my children on the weeks they're with her, because I know they can't depend on her to cook. But at the same time, I don't want my children to eat junk food. About me mentioning that her home is a pigsty, I know that my eldest daughter has mentioned that it wasn't always pleasant at mommy's house, but again, now I don't live there to clean. I can't demand my ex to live in a way she doesn't want to. I have, however, offered that the Fridays my children go home to her to spend the week, I will send a cleaning service so the children have a somewhat clean environment. She agreed. She was angry about having to wake up early, however, because she usually starts at 10 a.m. I guess she will have to adjust. About my girlfriend. We were supposed to spend the coming weekend together with the children, but I will respect my ex-wife's wishes for now at least, until we have gone to some sessions with the children and I can bring it up again. She is spending the rest of this week with me, however. I know that she feels guilty. I've tried to explain that she has nothing to do with whatever happened, and that she was dragged into this situation without any reason, because with or without her, I would never go back to my old life. That I left this marriage before I even knew she existed. I don't know if she believed me or felt reassured. She just said that she loved me. I apologized to her, and I will try to make her feel comfortable with me again. I guess this is one of those tests relationships hit, and we shall see if our connection is strong enough to overcome this. I think it is. Sounds like she wanted him back because he did everything she doesn't do for herself. I can't believe OP did all those things. No surprise he decided to leave her. Unusual Potato 1515 says, "Wait, so X doesn't cook for the kids or clean the house, and you go over in the morning to get the kids ready for school, and she gets a week off to herself every other week? What's going on with her?" Zero Zip Zilch Nada None says, "Holy crap on a cracker. You've been going to her house every day to get the kids ready for school? No wonder she thought she still had reason to think she was still in control. Also, make sure the counselor understands that the point of the sessions are for post-divorce co-parenting. Do not let your ex try to make it about reconciliation. Show the counselor the videos and all the other shenanigans your ex and both mothers have done. You should also let your ex know that your own mother is on restriction because of their crap." I've Got Tinnitus says, "Dude, sending a cleaning service to your ex's house is way more than I would have done. Add on to that you used to stop by and wake the kids up for school on her weeks? Your ex is a lazy, miserable person. Good job, man." My sister is an idiot. She had my niece when she was 19. She dropped out of college, but didn't want to ruin her boyfriend's life, so she never went after him for child support. The truth was that it wasn't his baby, and she's not sure who the father actually was. I am a fair bit older than her, and I make a good living, so I helped her out with money and free babysitting, that sort of thing. My niece is 5 years old now, and is basically a bonus kid for my family. Even my husband's family has sort of adopted her as one of ours. My sister just told me she's pregnant again. She hasn't mentioned a boyfriend, so I asked her what her relationship with the father was like. She said it was a tender guy, and that he ditched his profile after she told him. I asked her what she was planning on doing. She said that she was having the baby. I told her that was great, and I hoped that everything would work out for her. I added that I would not be giving her money to support her new baby, and that I would not be babysitting for her. I'm back to work, and I don't have that freedom anymore. I said that we would continue to help support my niece, but that was it, and that if she chose to use the help we were giving her for my niece for the new kid, we would have to stop helping at all. She lost it. She said that I'm judging her and how she chooses to live her life. I'm not. She can do whatever she wants, but she has no right to expect my husband and I to pick up the slack from her refusal to be a responsible person. It didn't take long for our mother to call me to chew me out for saying what I said. I asked her how much money she had given my sister for my niece, and how much she was going to give her for the new kid. I said I would give my sister the same amount my mother gave me for each of my kids, the cost of a onesie from Walmart. She said I was a terrible daughter and sister for saying what I said. She said that if she had more money, she would have given us more. I said she could sell her house up north now that she lives in Florida to help support my sister if she is really running out of money. She isn't. My dad left her well set up when he passed away. Literally Taken says, OP didn't just buy a few onesies for her first niece. Believing the unplanned pregnancy with an unknown father was a once-in-a-lifetime event, she provided an extraordinary level of support. She contributed significant emotional, practical, and financial support. She's not in a position to do it all a second time. Being generous for the first child does not oblige OP to do the same for the second. Better OP should tell her sister what to expect before the child is born, so she can plan accordingly. When someone is planning their life using magical thinking, you can't deliver bad news kindly. It is just ignored or dismissed. I'm afraid that if OP was less blunt, her sister would believe OP could be persuaded to change her mind. Not the a-hole. Smashers04 says, overall not the a-hole, but your point about only helping your older niece doesn't really make any sense. If you care about this kid, why would it bother you to see your money also going to help the other niece, nephew as well? You can choose whether or not to give your sister money, and you can choose how much you are comfortable giving. But specifically saying it should go to only one child is strange. Kangaroo Johnny says, not the a-hole, but your plan to only support one child is untenable. Once the newborn is older, they're going to realize you're favoring their sister over them. That's simply not fair, and I don't think something you will be able to do as you sound like a decent person. I think you need to either cut sister loose altogether, or accept you've got this deadbeat you're going to be stuck helping for the foreseeable future. Crappy choice, unfortunately.